Hey folks, welcome to our first episode of Why It's There. And Why It's There is going to be a series of episodes where I'm going to take a shelf in my collection and explain to you title by title why that game is still in my collection. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The obvious one over here, Blood Rage. My favorite game of all time. That's why it's still on my shelf. If you can tell, it has a lot of wear and tear on it because I've played that game probably the most of any game in my collection because I enjoy it that much. And that's just my copy of it specifically. There are a lot of times where I've played somebody else's copy, so that just kind of gives you an idea of how much I played that game. I really do enjoy it. It is my most enjoyed game of all time. So that's why Blood Rage is still there. Just above it, Champions of Midgard. One of my favorite worker placement games because, well, frankly, the theme, I'm just a sucker for Viking games. But on top of that, artwork is great. The Dark Mountains and Valhalla expansions that come with it really enhance the gameplay of it. I really enjoy it. I love the custom dice in it as well. So just a lot of good, not a whole lot of bad from my perspective for Champions of Midgard. So that's why it's still there. Below it, in my top 5 games of all time, Twilight Imperium 4th edition. It really tightened the screws on Twilight Imperium as a game in and of itself. With 4th edition, I don't have any of the expansions that came out after 4th edition, so I am kind of slacking there, but this is still one of my favorite games of all time, so I'm not going to be getting rid of it anytime soon. I am actually looking at adding those expansions, or I believe it's just one expansion at this point, to my collection so that I can further enhance my game experience with this. And we are actually trying to get that to the table here pretty soon as well. I've got some guys in my community that want to play, so I am happy to oblige if we can work it in. This game right here, Revenants of Midgard, very closely related to Champions of Midgard. This one is a little bit more of a Euro-ish style game, I guess you could call it. This is more of a hybrid, but this one is really kind of the Euro version of that series. So I did enjoy it. It's going to stay on my shelf just because it's another Viking-themed game. But it's also very close to this one as well as far as how much I enjoy the game. So that's staying on the shelf. Kodika, one of my favorite small abstract strategy games. It's really hard to get out of this right now. But Kodika is by Backspindle Games. And it's just when a game is going to be an abstract strategy game, I want it to be memorable in some way, shape, or form. And I like Kodika for the fact that it is colorful. It's not just black and white pieces that you're moving around on a board, although there's nothing necessarily or inherently wrong with that. Just for me, I want color. I want some oomph. And the Bakelite tiles in this one are actually very good. So the component strength and the fact that it's a colorful abstract strategy game with a little bit of a twist in there is why that one is still on my shelf. Also plays very well with just 2 players too. So there you have that. Obscurio, one of my favorite social deduction games. I love being the magic book in this one, where you have to pick the things that are leading the rest of the group down the path that you want it to go to. Mysterium has been one that this has replaced for me. I'm not saying that it should replace Mysterium for everybody, but for me it definitely did. Has a very similar vibe to it, where you have one person giving clues out to everybody, but with this one it just felt more intuitive. It felt more fun, if I can put it that way. Less of a puzzle, more of a fun activity to make it go a little bit better. I like the fact that on this one you have little pieces that you can point to aspects of the picture so that you can try to draw people's attention to that aspect of the picture rather than just giving them a carte blanche picture. I know that doesn't make sense, but giving them a almost like a canvas, and they have to almost randomly just intuitively know what you're trying to tell them through that picture. I like the fact that you can point to certain aspects of the picture with Obscurio. That's one of the reasons why it replaced Mysterium for me, but that's why that's how it's still on the shelf. This, Catan Geographies Germany, is one of the only ways that I will willingly play Catan at this point. I really enjoy the fact that you can build the different monuments and the different statues and the different landmarks of Germany in this one. But another cool thing, the board of this was designed with the geographical, agricultural points in mind that Germany is known for. So that's a cool thing as well. This is just one of my favorite versions of Catan. So if I'm going to have Catan in my library, we're going to make sure that it is Catan Geographies Germany. Shadows over Camelot. We've had so much fun with this game over the years. So I really just can't force myself to get rid of it. I still think it's a relevant game. Yeah, you're just putting poker hands together and all straights and pairs and all that. I understand. But the fun that has been had cracking Monty Python Quest for the Holy Grail jokes during this game, it is really what makes it a classic in my opinion. So Shadows over Camelot, I love the game, won't ever get rid of it. Mission Red Planet, also one of those simultaneous role selection games that I really enjoy. I like trying to outthink your opponent. The area control mechanism on Mars is also one of the more enjoyable factors of the game as well. But the component quality has really taken it over the top for me specifically. So the little astronaut dudes that you have flying around and flying up to Mars on the ships, really enjoyed it. And this will, I don't think, ever leave my collection. Coliseum, very much in the same vein. I know there's been a reprint of it. I just have really stayed with the original. I don't mind. The artwork was a little hard to grasp when that reprint came out, but it grew on me ever so slightly, but I still prefer the original. So we're going to keep that in here as well. Star Realms is one of my favorite two-player games. That's a deck builder, so this is why that's on here. My wife really enjoys Star Realms as well, so it's just not going to go anywhere. Northgard is earning its place. Now, I will have to, in all honesty, it was put here because of its size, and I wanted a divider against all of the other ones that are put here. I wanted a vertical divider in the layout of this shelf. That's one of the main reasons that Northgard went here, but it's growing on me. The review's coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. Star Wars Rebellion, I've said it many, many times. Star Wars Rebellion is Star Wars in a box. And it's a palatable Star Wars in a box. Where if you want a original trilogy experience with Star Wars, this is your Huckleberry. If you want more of a fringe universe, then you go with Star Wars Outer Rim. But this is Star Wars in a box, in my opinion. That's why it will always stay on my shelf. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Cue the watch band. I've got an Aliens shirt on now, but I usually have a Star Wars shirt on of some way, shape, or form. So that's Star Wars in a box. That's why it's still on my shelf. Fire and Axe, a Viking Saga. This has been part of my gaming collection for, oh goodness, decades. And it's just one of those games that I just enjoy too much. So even though I haven't played it in a long time, it's probably never going to leave my collection either. That's one of the monikers about this section, with the one caveat here that may or may not be sticking around, but I just don't know yet. I haven't done the review. Got to get a couple more plays of it in, but this one is growing on me, and I do enjoy it. I will say that much, but we'll have to see. But Fire and Axe, a Viking Saga, again, Viking theme grabbed me. I like the gameplay, and it has a very... it's not just about pillaging and taking over land and all that other kind of stuff. There's a lot of other stuff that's in there, trading, exploring. So I really enjoy the days of the week mechanism for during your turn. You only have 7 days to work with during a week, which is your turn. Really enjoyed this game a lot. Zombicide Black Plague, as you can see down here, we have more Zombicide Black, Green Horde, Wolfsburg, and then I also have Invader down here as well. So Zombicide Black Plague is really where I kind of jumped into the Zombicide boat and really started enjoying it. So that's one of the reasons why it's still around. It was my entry point, and most of the stuff that's come after that I've really enjoyed. I haven't tried the second version of the original Zombicide, so maybe I'll have to go and back and try that out. But everything else has been pretty cool. I didn't do the most recent one, White. I can't remember what it was called. White Death, I think, maybe. But that one just didn't strike me as something I needed. But Zombicide Black Plague will remain for quite some time. And that is that for why it's there for this installment. We're going to continue with the other shelves that are in my collection. So we'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.